Good morning, everybody. How are you? The devilishly handsome Ian Dixon. Good morning, sir.
Shut up, for f***'s sake. Jesus.
Good morning, gorgeous ones. Get yourselves in here. Welcome to a new week. Welcome to the show, Rise Up Show with me, your host, Danny Wallace. I hope you're feeling good this morning. I'm feeling all fresh-faced. I'm going to put a little bit of makeup on while I'm talking to you today. Big plans afoot here at IATQB HQ. I'm very, very, very excited to be sharing with you, and I'm having to say it out loud in order for me to do it. That next week, this is not a drill. I am going to be launching the IATQB membership situation. More details are going to be unfolding as the week progresses. But next week is IATQB's 4th birthday. It is our 4th anniversary of this being a thing, of us being an actual thing. But we're going to make it official. This is us making it official. This is something that you can join. This is something that you can be a part of. This is something that you can put your flag in the floor and say, I am a member of the IATQB community. The Hive will always be free, FYI. But I am hoping to get this out to you and launched officially on Monday's show. I am saying this so that I make it happen. I have been dragging my feet. And the reason I've been dragging my feet on it for the longest time is because I was always worried that I wasn't going to be able to bring enough value to you guys to make, any kind of oh shit, I've just got foundation everywhere. Any kind of subscription-based situation worth it. I wanted to make sure that I was providing absolute value. I wanted to make sure that if you were going to do it and I was an investment for you from a little from a monthly point of view, that it was going to be worthwhile. It was going to be a good investment. It was going to be something that you wanted, not just an investment, but something that you wanted to support as well. Something that you wanted to get behind. Now, the team and I, this looks really scary. Trust the process with this makeup business, you lot. I look scary before I look better. I'll try and get through this bit quick. So if you're just tuning in and you're like, Danny, you look like a ghost, mate. Like, I'm okay. Just put my foundation on. I want for us to be able to, me and the team did work on our really core values and what our mission was. And our overarching mission is to really have conversations that matter, to help give platforms to people who absolutely and thoroughly deserve platforms where they might not get platforms elsewhere, to give my speakers, so people that I work with directly, opportunities to do hosting, to be interviewed and to do interviewing. So that's going to form a part of it. So if you are alumni of Be Inspired, for example, you will be, or if you have seen alumni from Be Inspired, you will see them on the show hosting, as well as me. You will see incredible people who are real movers and shakers in their industry, sharing their stories and sharing value in sort of Diary of a CEO style situations. So not just your usual, how did you make your business, actually doing. I'm waving to Amy Blaney. She can't listen, but she can see us. Amy, I've got coffee, Amy. I'll talk to you about that in a second. Real movers and shakers in business and in life, celebrities and so on and so forth. I've been rubbing shoulders with some pretty cool folks. And I want to be able to bring those folks to you to provide real insight and real value. And I don't want it to be overly expensive. I want it to be the price of a couple of brews a month. If you would take me out for a brew to spend some time with me, then, or I would take you out for a brew, either way, we'll have a little brew together. Then that's going to be the entry level to the membership. So more details are coming this week. Just know that it's coming. Please, I would love as many of you as possible to get behind this, because the more people that are actively involved in the community, we all do well when we all do well, but also what it's going to allow me to do is bring real production value to proceedings, is to bring to you something that is as best a quality as I could possibly give you. And that's what I want. That's what I want for us all. Some of you have been watching the show now. We've been going for 3 years. The show at Rise Up show has been going for 3 years, as yet to have an overhaul as big as this. So you can see we're doing work in the background, like making it look pretty. We're in the studios looking nice, looking swish, looking fancy. Working on things like the lighting and the sound and all of that. So you're getting like super good production value, but also super incredible planned value as part of the show at Rise Up show, as part of your few brews a month with me. So let me know what you're thinking. Are you excited? Who's going to be coming in? Like, we don't know. We don't know what it is, Dan. There's going to be tiers. So tiered access. It's going to be hosted on Patreon. So the team are working in the background, pulling all of that together as we speak. And the ETA is Monday. So keep your peepers peeled. I would love as much support as possible. I've been turning up for free for you guys for the past 3 years in this space, and I want to make it even better for you all. I want to make it so that it is super, 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 super valuable, and something that you want to get behind, something that we want to grow, and we grow it together, because we all do well when we all do well. So yes, very, very exciting to be pulling all that together. I can't wait to share with you who's going to be guesting on the show in our Patreon, and also what things you can be getting involved with as well. So there's going to be sort of in-person meetups, depending on what tier you're coming in on. You will have access to very special gigs that I'm going to be doing that no one else will have access to. So intimate and special gigs featuring awesome people. You'll have access to those. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm nervous. This has been, honestly, if you have any kind of proximity to me and you've been working with me in any way, shape or form, you know that this has been something that I've been wanting to do, but scared of doing. And there's no way that I can sit here, hand on my heart, saying to you guys, let's get gloriously uncomfortable, if I don't get gloriously uncomfortable. And this is me being really gloriously uncomfortable. So it's an interesting one. It's an interesting exercise. Sitting on the spike, I'm going for it. And also, it's one of those situations whereby if it flops, am I going to die? No. Oh shit. Woo! Am I going to die? No. If it takes off, is it going to be incredible? Yes. Is it going to spawn a whole bunch of other incredible stuff? Definitely, given what our plans are. So the more of us that can get behind this, the better. More details are coming in the week. I am caffeinating. This is not a decaf. This is not a drill. We've got team meetings this morning. They are ready for me. So the theme of this morning is self-care. One of the reasons why I was putting my makeup on just then is that I wanted to kind of just tap into why I started the show at Rise Up show in the first place. It was me getting ready for the work day. Putting makeup on is an act of self-care. And this week, not only is it a big week from a professional point of view, from a personal point of view, it's a big week as well. Why, you ask, Danny? Well, I have never taken time, any meaningful chunk of time, just for myself. I can't remember when I've done that. Every time you see me and I'm out and about, every time you see me and I'm traveling, every time you see me, I'm like in these really cool places with these cool people, is all for the growth of the business. Don't get me wrong. I love it. Like, I love it. I had the most incredible experiences. I get to do the most weird and wonderful and fabulous things, but it's always for something. It's never just because I need it. And receiving in terms of receiving love, receiving care, receiving nurturing, receiving sweetness, receiving has been something that I've struggled with for the longest time. For the longest time. And interestingly, I was speaking at an event where there were other people who've experienced domestic abuse. Some were still experiencing domestic abuse. Some people were on the other side of it. And I think this is like really centered and heavily rooted in stuff that's gone on in the past, where in order for me to feel valid, I needed to be giving. I needed to be doing for people. I needed to be growing the business, making money in order for me to do anything cool, for me to do anything good and nice and sweet for myself. So, my incredible friend, Owena, and also Be Inspired alumni, talked to me last year and she said, Danny, we're doing a retreat. I'm putting on a retreat. And I know she's the most incredible hands in terms of, well, you know, we talk about being the hands at each other's back and all that sort of stuff in the wider community and certainly within our cohorts. She was like, Danny, next year, I'm putting on a retreat. It's called the Wild Woman Retreat. And I can see that you are doing a lot. I can see that you are overstretching yourself. All the things that you lot can see me do all the time, right? They're not true. I get it. I think it would be silly of you if you didn't start to actually pinpoint times in the future to stop and look after yourself. And I was like, what a great idea. I definitely need that. Last year, and I've talked to lots of you about this, last year was a real pivotal year emotionally, energetically. And I've been reaping the benefits of it this year. But last year was tough. It was hard. There was lots of leveling up. I nearly gave myself a heart attack. There was a lot going on from a financial perspective, leveling up the event, you know, from a scaling perspective, all of this sort of stuff. I really put the pressure on myself last year, and it messed with my mojo. There were times last year where I was like, I don't think I can do it, right? I don't think I can throw myself into this anymore. There's nothing left of me to give. Like, how do I do this? And actually, when you are building a business or building anything, there comes a point where it's nothing to do with what you know. Like, I know all the things. And it comes to you need to connect with yourself. You need to work out what aligns with you. You need to make decisions based on where your heart's doing and all of this sort of stuff. And I wasn't giving myself any kind of connected sort of spiritual space. And there are different types of rest. And yes, I absolutely definitely need physical rest. Yesterday, I spent the majority of the day in bed binge watching Vikings because I'd spent a significant period of time in the previous weeks doing lots of traveling. And I remember saying to Wallace, I just want to stop. I want to press the pause button for everyone to just I just don't want to get out of bed today. And that's what I kind of did yesterday. I didn't get out of bed. And it was brilliant and glorious and wonderful. But I can't do that for very long because A, I feel guilty. I feel productive. I don't feel valid unless I'm being productive, and I'm really messing with my mojo. So there are different types of rest. And at the end of this week, I am going to go away from Thursday through to Sunday. I'm going to Tintern, wherever that is. I'm just going to set it in the sat nav and drive. And I am going on this Wild Woman retreat. And it's like, I said to Wallace yesterday, like, he went, what is this you're going away for? Like, what's this retreat? Are you speaking at it? I went, no, I'm stopping. I'm going to do yoga in a forest. He went, fucking hell, you need that. I was like, yeah, I know. But if I'd have had to book it now, say, for example, it wasn't booked in. And if somebody said to me, Danny, you got 4 days off next week, go away and do something for yourself, I wouldn't book it in. I just wouldn't. I'm so grateful to past me for booking this time in because I can't see past the end of my nose imminently to be able to go and do it. Will I feel guilty? Probably for the first 24 hours, yes. But then I want to be able to kind of get outside of myself a little bit. I need to kind of get into my body a bit and out of my head. And not out of my head when it's not like kind of retreat, but I need to pause. I need to stop, right? So I'm thinking like my self-care is definitely looking out into the future and going, I know that I'm busy around these times and I know there are dips in activity during these times, and actually set a few days away just for myself. It's never something that I felt like I've been able to do because I've been traveling so much with work, I feel like when I'm at home, I need to be with the kids, right? I need to be with the family. I need to be doing, I need to be productive here. I need to sort the house out, for example. I need to sort things out for my dad. I need to sort things out for my sister. I need to, that, like, I'm in a constant state to do it. So to take these like 4 days out is absolutely 100%, a million percent necessary. So that's going to be some spiritual rest. So physical rest, spent the day in bed. There are different types of rest though, because sometimes it isn't just having a nap or having a sleep, right? Because I don't know about you, sometimes when I take that physical rest, I start to ache a little bit. I need to move. So physical rest sometimes could be actually going out for a walk, isn't necessarily stopping, isn't necessarily not moving. It could be moving. That's interesting, isn't it? Next up, so spiritual. So getting reconnected with myself. We've done so much work on our core values as a business, and a lot of them spill into my personal values anyway. But really connecting with myself and the fact that I am a human being having a human experience, understanding where my consciousness is, all of this sort of stuff. My rest for the weekend was walking, cold water therapy, good company, food, and relaxing. Yes, AJ. Yes, Alex. Absolutely. Sarah, I filled my connections cup up this weekend, met some wonderful people, had some amazing conversations about what I'm doing. I love that. And future plans, made new friends, invited to a family picnic, and was looked after like I was part of the family. That's lovely. My mood is completely different to a week ago because I spent time for me. So next up, emotional rest. So when I tend to stop, I get a little bit emotional. I feel guilty or something start to unblock. There were conversations that I had in the last week where I was feeling a lot of feelings. So to not feel a lot of feelings was necessary because I feel a lot all the time because I'm an empath and because there's a lot going on. There's many layers to all the things that I'm doing. I'm scared about launching a bloody membership. I'm scared, all of these things. So emotional rest is necessary, stepping off of the roller coaster. Sensory rest. So allowing for external, so being in loud situations and doing lots of traveling and being at lots of speaking events and what have you is brilliant and wonderful, but also is a real spend on the sensory experience. So again, from a sensory point of view, coming back to nature, coming back to tidiness, coming back to not a lot of noise. I explained it to the kids yesterday, for example. They wanted to come and snuggle me, right? But I was all touched out. I was all talked out. And that was kind of spilling out. So I had to say to them, like, I love you and be here fine, but I can't have you on me. It doesn't feel like I'm struggling with how that's making me feel. So they sat at the end of the bed or they sat, to the side. I definitely need that with a tapping toddler. Yeah, for sure. Sensory rest. So I needed things to be relatively quiet. I only wanted to listen to one thing at once. A lot of noise was doing my head in, a lot of touch was doing my head in. I just wasn't here for it. Creative rest. So allowing some space in my diary. So this week, for example, isn't very client delivery heavy because we've just come to the end of the Be Heard process, about to start the Be Inspired process for those that are on September's cohort. And there isn't a lot of delivery this week, which is perfect. It's going to allow me to get a little bit creative about what our next steps are, about writing some bits and pieces, formulating some of the things that we're going to talk about. I have a human weighted blanket to regulate. It was lush. I love a weighted blanket. Love, 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 love a weighted blanket. And weighted blankets are great for anybody who has never tried one before, because I think it's called proprioception. I'm not too sure what it is. Somebody will know here. But no, it helps your body know where it is. And if you're feeling a little bit untethered, sometimes having a weighted blanket helps ground you and helps your body to remember that it is solid and rooted. And I need that sometimes, especially because of the way that things are. I'm here, there, and everywhere all of the time. What you see on the internet is not made up. Like this is the pace at which I'm working. And so with that in mind, having groundedness and rootedness and weighted blankets for me is a beautiful thing. I feel I need more rest than I get, but if I get the rest I feel I need, I don't get the things done. Yeah. Yes. And also, for me, a day or a morning is never enough. One of my friends, Jojo, was saying, like, can you not just take an hour? And I'm like, if you're in a car and you're driving at 100 miles an hour, your stopping distance is much longer than it is. Your braking distance is much longer than it is if you're putting along at 5 miles an hour. So when I am legging it and running, which is what I've been doing, you've seen, I'm going at 100 miles an hour. So if I've only got an afternoon off, I can kind of do a little bit of physical rest, but all of the rest of it, I can't. So having these 4 days at the end of this week, as well as light delivery, is a massive act of self-care. There's another thing that I do. So if we talk about savers, I was talking about them, the Miracle Morning stuff the other week on the show, if you caught it. One of the things is silence. And I struggle a lot with just silence because my thoughts are very noisy and all over the place. So journaling, writing stuff down, ejecting stuff out of my head. And this is really cool. It helps me. One of the only sort of meditation aids that I've found, other than like YouTube guided meditations, that have helped me stop, that actually help me quiet my mind, right? And it's a tuning fork. Now, this is an tuning fork. Apparently, it's the sound of creation. Let me know if you can hear this when I do this. Now, I can hear it in my ears because right? And the idea behind it is that you listen until you can't hear it anymore. Now, you guys might not be able to hear that anymore, but it's still going. And it goes for a lot longer than you give it credit for. Than you think, oh, once you've heard the initial ding, that initial ding fades away, but the vibrations and the sound is still going if you hold it quite close to your ear. Now, some people use tuning forks as like to actually physically move energy because it's utilizing frequency. But you felt it. I'll do it again. It feels really good. Honestly, it's one of my favorite things. So when I'm using this for meditating, I listen to it until I can't hear it anymore. So then the only job I have in that moment is to just listen. And that is, you can use that as an analogy for different things. Like you could just listen. Your thoughts start to kind of come through a little bit, but then your job isn't to listen to the thought. It's to just listen for that noise. I don't know if you can hear it anymore. It's still going. And they're so cool. Suara sound, Suara sound. This is an tuning fork, and they have different ones in different frequencies. I am not like the most clever when it comes to this sort of thing. My incredible friend Nikki Sprossum is a sound healer. She's a healer of all sorts. She's incredible. But I go for sound healing a couple of times a year and have like a whole like situation, have a whole like therapy sound healing thing for a good couple of hours. But if I need to be quiet and still and grounded, a weighted blanket and my is a really nice thing that I do for myself that isn't necessarily like time intensive. So I can take 5 minutes out and it's really good for grounding. Great for clearing space as well. Yeah, Sandy, apparently so. There's like you can move energy, flick it out of the way and all sorts of stuff. I know, I did a workshop on how to do it, but I don't have the patience to do that for myself all the time. But I do love giving it a couple of dings and a listen, and it helps bring me back to breath, back to body, back to now, which is one of the practices that Fidel Bohill shares in our training within Be Heard. Yesterday, I heard the saying JOMO, the joy of missing out. Lots of people saying that the JOMO is allowing themselves to take that time for self-care, not feeling the need to do all the things all the time. Love this reframe. Me too. The joy of missing out. The fact that I've done that a couple of times where I needed to be somewhere and it was something for me, but it was learning. So I'm a part of a mastermind and there was like a mastermind day and I couldn't make it. I just couldn't make it. I couldn't do any more learning. I couldn't absorb any more. But actually, the thing that particular mastermind is teaching me is that I can make those decisions. And I wouldn't have normally. I'd have gone and I'd have plowed through and I'd have kept going and kept running. So actually, I gave myself the joy of missing out. I was sad I wasn't there. I was sad I wasn't connected with my fellow masterminders and the trainers. Like one of the trainers is Sherry Teagman, right? And she's fucking incredible. And I missed her and I missed that. But it was the best decision that I made for myself on that day. And I'm really glad that I did. And that's not to say that I've wasted my money this month as part of like, I didn't go to the training or the mastermind. It's teaching me that I can do those things or not do those things. And sometimes that's where the investment lies. It's very interesting how these things work. So physical rest, mental rest, not allowing myself to, you gave yourself permission, self-care. Yeah, it's the unsexy work. It's not just having a bubbly bath. Self-care is me today taking some time to pay some bills, to book some appointments. Like I'm due my smear, I've put it off, I need to book my smear test. Like there's all sorts of things that I haven't done. Life admin that are acts of self-care. So that's one of the things that I do. I have on my desk my vitamins, right? I have a multivitamin and I have like a skin and hair vitamin. I don't put them in the medicine cupboard. I put them on my desk. And they shouldn't really live on my desk, but it's the only way that I can remind myself every day to take some vitamins. Everyone needs to take vitamins, right? Because our particularly in the West, our Western diets aren't really good enough. And supplementing is a good thing, right? So putting my vitamins on my desk is an act of self-care because it reminds me to take my vitamins. And actually really tasty. I like sweeties. When you say yes to someone else, you say no to yourself. It depends, right? And I've been giving myself some space. I shouldn't really put them in my mouth while I'm talking to you all, should I? I've been giving myself some space to make those decisions. So why am I telling you all this? Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because if I'm experiencing this, then sure as shit, some of you must be as well. That not experiencing this is I'm sharing with you some of my self-care practices. So I've invested quite heavily in a skincare routine. And my skin is fucking fabulous now, right? I'm enjoying doing it. But actually, it is 10 minutes either side of the day where I'm doing something wholesome for myself that isn't drinking alcohol, that isn't working myself into the ground. I'm just putting some shit on my face, right? But it's 10 minutes every day where I'm doing something wholesome for myself, something kind for myself. And I hadn't been, it was making me poorly. Not looking after myself, not putting myself first. Yes, it's putting the oxygen mask on, but actually loving myself is quite difficult sometimes. Sometimes I just want to like myself. If I can like myself, that'll be all right. That's enough. And these conscious practices, yes, Sandy, these conscious practices are really helpful. In fact, if anybody doesn't follow Sandy, follow Sandy. She has her zone of genius is journaling and teaching about journaling and holding space for people to journal. And it's such a healthy practice. Ejecting your thoughts out onto paper in front of you so you can make them bigger or smaller so that you can take action, so that there's so much noise in your head that things feel physically overwhelming sometimes, that actually when you eject them out of your head is so helpful. You start to look at it, start to make the problem smaller. Just that 10 minutes of connecting and touching your own face and body is wholesome. Yes, Jen, absolutely. And having people like you, Jennifer McKenzie, in my life who are showing, doing that and actively doing that is really inspirational for me and helps me do the things for myself. So hopefully me sharing this with you and this being a reminder to every single one of you, take a little bit of time, be it physical rest, mental rest, spiritual rest, emotional rest, sensory rest, creative rest, or social rest. Social rest for me is being around my friends, not having to be Danny Wallace in a certain situation. Because sometimes I have to, especially when I go to a big event, especially when I'm taking lots of clients and lots of members of the community out. It's necessary for me to be switched on. And I'm quite an introvert, really, when it comes to things like that. So allowing myself to be with my friends who don't expect me to be Danny Wallace. They don't need anything from me. And it's okay for me not to be helping them in that moment. Not that I don't enjoy it. I absolutely do. And I love doing what I do. I love, 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 love it with all of my heart and all of my bones and everything that I am. But the rest is essential in order for me to be able to do the dead good work that I want to do, which is creating safe spaces to have conversations that matter. And hopefully this conversation has mattered to you this morning. And I want to have more conversations that matter. So keep your peepers peeled for how to access our Patreon membership platform. It's coming next week on our 4th birthday. I cannot believe that IATQB is 4. This has jumped up, hasn't it, since I got this? A testament to the fact that when you do speaking gigs and you call to action, and the call to action is join my community, the community grows. These are all engaged people that have decided to jump in to our Instagram. So at the Queen Bee Danny, if you don't already follow me on Instagram, please do. There's lots of fab content over on there. And also the link to join the Summit Strategy Swarm if you are not booked on already. If by the end of this week, we are not full in terms of spaces, then I will not be able to run the event. Okay. So I won't be able to run the event only because it's a north to south thing. I'm doing Glasgow, Manchester, Birmingham, London. If all of those spaces aren't taken, it doesn't make sense for me to run it. So if you have been thinking about coming on the strategy swarm and you're like kind of putting it off, don't. Get yourself booked on. Let's get going. Let's get our eyes and ears and zoom out and look on your business. Let's see what's going on. And get the plans in place for the next 6 to 12 months. Look at what you're selling. Look at how you're going to talk about it. Get your content pillars in place. I am going to spend the day with you, and you can pick my brains with all the juice. And considering that we've built almost £1 million business now, oh my fucking God, we're staring £1 million turnover in the face. Then I know a few things. And also, I have interviewed thousands of incredible business owners. So the stuff that I've got in my brain, even though I don't sound very clever, I actually am. So you can come along to the Summer Strategy Swarm for the cheapest it is to work with me. The most inexpensive way to work with me is this. Loads of you have been, booking discovery calls, and you can work with me on Be Inspired. That's a 10 grand investment if that's what you're going to come in and do. Or you can come and work with me for the day, small group, no more than 10, for $397 plus VAT. So go to Instagram, and it's on the Insta link. It's the top link. You just go and grab your space on the Summer Swarm. I'm always dropping big words. Big words do not make the clevers. FYI. Just because someone knows, I know lots of people who know big words who are stupid as shit. Big words do not make the clever. But smarts do, and that I've got loads of. So if you want me to hold some space for you, which is another zone of genius of mine, holding space, parting the tide as an act of self-care for you and your business, get yourself onto the Summer Swarm. We've got some really, really cool people in the room as well who are already booked on. So not only are you giving yourself the gift of time, you're giving yourself the gift of an incredible little micro community there of people that can help. People that can be the hands at your back as well as me. All right. I think that is it for today. Please, my loves, be kind to yourself this week. I went out to the hippie shop yesterday and bought some big fuck off baggy harem pants. Like I am going all in for the forest bathing, yoga, woo, spiritual connection situation. I am going. I've been told we've got to wear a flowy dress. It's going to do some feminine dancing and connection. Like I'm here for it. I'll be taking pictures and showing you all the behind the scenes. Or maybe I won't. Maybe I'll just shut the fuck up and be with myself for a few days, which is actually the reason why I'm doing it. We'll see. I can't not take pictures though, can I? Right, you lot. Have a brilliant week. Look after yourself. Think about the ways that you can love on yourself this week. I love you. Thank you for being around. Thank you for being a part of this community. You rock. Follow me if you don't already at the Queen Bee Danny on Instagram, on the LinkedIn, on the Facebook. Wherever there's a social media platform, there I am. Have a great week. I will see you on Wednesday for more Showing Up, Wising Up and Rising Up. Tra.